It is another fine day in the studios of Woomba, and this is the Crystal Beauty Show. My name is Tiafa Kemtonka. Don't go anywhere because we're coming right back. Okay, we are right back on the Crystal Beauty Show. My name is Tiafak M. Tonga, and we have here a very beautiful guest in the person of, should I call you Kweke or should I call you Poetic Ranz or which name in particular?
I think it depends.
It depends on.
But I think mostly when I'm on stage, I go by Poetic Ranz. But I think I want to change that to Zinnia because I'm learning to love my name more. Outside of that, you can call me Kweke.
Eh.
Or you can just call me Sunshine. My friends call me Sunshine.
Okay, Sunshine. So let's start with the whole name thing. Let's start with the whole name thing because I think that's where we should start from. So tell us about your name, like from
Okay.
Zinnia to
All of
Ranz.
my names.
Uh-huh.
My names are Kweke Rudy Ashley.
Okay.
Zoe Praise Zinnia.
Mama me. Okay, carry on.
My mom is Christian, so I think I've had like my birth certificate changed like 4 times.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my mom comes, she adds this, she removes that. She comes, she adds this, and she removes that. So Kweke was like the last name. Kweke's Zoe was the last name that was the last names that were added to my birth certificate.
Okay.
And it took me a long time to relate to Kweke because that's my father's name. So I did more of Zinnia. I went more with Zinnia. I went more with Ashley because that's what people related more to. And then the transition time of my life where I went from Ek to Christ, that's where I picked up on Zoe.
Okay. So now tell me, this you say you mentioned something that you're learning to love your name more. What is that all about?
Yes. So when I started writing poetry, or rather when I started writing...
That's a very good way to introduce yourself, by the way. She's a poet. Okay, carry on.
So when I started writing poetry, everybody had these cool stage names. You know, there was Inkman, there was Penboy, there was here and there and whatnot. So I was thinking to myself, I went on Instagram and I found this girl. I really loved her poems. Her Instagram handle is Poetic Lano.
Okay.
And I thought it was really beautiful. So then I just came back and I was like, okay, what can I do with my name?
Okay.
And I realized that when you sum up the initials of all of my names, it actually spells a name.
Okay.
So I just want to say, Ranz is the initial of all of my names combined, but nobody's a wiser. So.
Oh, okay, that's very nice. Wow, I couldn't have picked that from the first time I saw it. That's really cool. So can you tell us now, let's now dive into you in particular. You do poetry and spoken word?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about your journey as a spoken word artist and a poet?
Well, I think I've been writing for as long as I can remember. But I started writing poetry when I was in a really dark place.
Oh.
4 years ago.
Why does a lot of art come from dark places?
I don't know. But it was some form of salvation and healing for me. So writing about how I felt and the things that bothered me helped me out of those dark places because I felt like growing up, I didn't have a lot of people to listen.
Okay.
So writing and telling random people about how you feel is healing because, well, if I tell you that I hate you, you're not going to do me shit. So it's like, it's really nice. Yeah, it's really nice.
So this journey, is it something that you intend to see through the end, or this is just your early life trying to find something that you love?
Well, at first I thought that it was just a phase and that it was going to pass. But with time I discovered that poetry is actually something I love doing. So I do intend to go on with it.
So in this your journey of spoken word and poetry, who are the people who have assisted you along the way?
I think there's a plethora of people.
Okay.
A lot of people have helped me.
Just to name a few.
Yeah. I think I would rather go with the community as a whole because the first time I performed it was at the Guari community and I was writing, but I used to just scribble words down on pages and then you don't know what you're doing because nobody gets it. Then you meet these people as crazy as you are. So I'm like, okay, so you guys write and talk to yourself too, cool, we're in this together. So it was really nice. I think the Guayot community was the starting point for me. So you have Guayot, you have Riza was literally the one who held my hand throughout that process. I have other people who I look up to when it comes to writing, those home and out. I think that for poets out of the country, I've leaned a lot towards Titilope Shonuka. She's a Yoruba poet, and she's also, well, she's more of a Canadian, but she leans more to her African roots, which was really beautiful for me.
Okay, so tell me, you've mentioned you've mentioned the grind hop. What is it all about? Like
Well,
you mentioned it like a place where a lot of mad people must your madness. Yeah. So
yes.
tell me about it. What was it all
Well,
about?
Guerrilla Hub it's a community of artists, or let me say, community of creatives,
Okay.
where people come together, they celebrate each other, they share art, appreciate art. It's not just about artists; it's
Okay.
about everybody. You could just be an art enthusiast, and you're fine to be there. You get. So you have poets, you have writers, because there's some writers who are not poets. They have spoken word artists. You have musicians, just anything. If you can create, you're creative. So Gaia Hop is a family of
Okay, that's really
artists.
nice. So now, in your journey as a spoken word artist, I understand spoken word is you talking on stage. So what don't you get frightened? Don't you get scared? Like what are your tough times on stage? Like your best moments and
The
your
truth
tough times on
is,
stage. Yeah.
okay, so the truth is, I still get stage fright.
Okay.
Yeah, my first few seconds on stage, I have this. I don't know if people notice. I feel like I can control it a lot better now, but my voice is always still shaky when I go on stage. But then when I start talking, it just kind of flows. So yes, I do get stage fright, but it gets better with time. I guess I think the stage fright is what makes spoken word exciting because then you know that you're going to be scared and nervous, so you prepare.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Sunshine. She really looks like a sunshine. If you're just joining us, we have Quaker Ranz here, Sunshine, Zoe, and what have you in her names. This is the Crystal Beauty Show. We're taking a short break, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
I come from a long line of women who gather prophecies and shatter dreams in a single breath. Fighting tug of wars with the universe, so not getting washed up and fucked up by life is what I am prone to do. When you ask me where I come from, I will tell you of a place where daughters give face to their mother's shame. We are some kind of sin, a special kind of abomination, a generation of women who bend in response to raging winds. We will not tell you about strength, no. We will teach you that the only way to feel love is to bleed first. So when you ask me where I come from, there are things I cannot tell you unless you understand where I come from.
Wow, that was really, really beautiful and touching. Tell me a little bit about that piece.
Yeah. I think that there are a lot of stories that come from where we come from,
Okay.
and those things shape us. So when people ask about where we come from, most of us want to say Bamenda or this or that. I feel like where we come from is mostly home.
Okay.
We talk mostly about our upbringing and the things that have happened that have shaped us into who we are. I talked about my identity crisis with my names,
Okay.
and that was because partly I had trouble with identifying myself. My mom is Bamileke, my dad is Bamende, so it's a little
So,
mix.
I get it. So, you coming from this mixed background, has there been any, tough hustles while growing up?
Yeah, not always. I've mostly identified as Bamileke, but no, not really. No tussles.
So now, in this journey that you have been carrying along as a spoken word artist, what are these challenges, the challenges that you've faced?
Oh my god, I'm waiting for somebody to ask me this question.
Okay. I
I
just
feel
asked you.
yeah, I feel like one of the things that have challenged me a lot is the fact that people don't get poetry. Poetry is
Okay.
one of those forms of art that are underrated and underappreciated. So when people don't understand what you're doing, it's difficult to do it.
Okay.
It's even more difficult to explain to your family what you're doing with your life.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yes, so those are one of the things. The fact that people don't appreciate poetry. And second, the fact that poetry doesn't pay because people don't appreciate poetry. So it's difficult to invest a lot of time in it because at the end of the day, you have to feed. Yeah, you have to eat, you have to survive. And it's difficult to put all that pressure on something that people around you don't understand.
Okay, so you going through these difficulties, what are the changes that you want to see? What are the changes that you feel like you want to see on in this sphere?
Well, I think that to start off, I think people could learn how to appreciate poetry more if
Okay.
they could just slow down and listen. Because poetry is all about having the patience to listen and understand what's being said. People can learn how to appreciate poetry more. Poetry can also be more entertaining and not necessarily all the boring up and down words. Some poets can be boring, no cap.
Okay, now, do you think you are one of what makes you feel like okay, one of those poets that's bringing something different to the table that will make poetry people want to listen to poetry more or want to invest in it, as you say?
Well, it's like you said, I'm bringing something different.
What's the different thing that you're bringing?
Authenticity. I'm talking about stories that people would normally not talk about. I'm
Okay,
talking about the things that affect our society as a whole, but people are avoiding to talk about.
okay,
Okay. So I think there's a buzz around poetry. To get people to like your poetry, you have to say things that they want to hear. Our generation wants to talk about sex and whatnot, but I think that the problem most poets have is that we talk about things that are around without talking about the elephant in the room. So, from my perspective, the fact that I come with the things that nobody wants to talk about, I think that's that.
okay. That's really nice. So far so good. Do you think poetry has grown in the sector where you find yourself?
Grown. Well, when it comes to an audience base, I think poetry has grown progressively, slowly, but yes. When it comes to the artists themselves, yeah, they have grown because you hear people talking about poetry now. You can actually identify as a poet without people going, "Oh, what does that mean?
Okay.
What do you do?"
Okay,
So
okay.
yes.
I think I had this when I was in school when I told people what I did and they were like,
What does that mean?
what? That thing is a thing, is
Yeah.
it in school? So, if you're just joining us, this is the Crystal Beauty Show, and we have been having a lot of fun here with Kweke Zinya Ranz Sunshine, and it is still lots of colors. We're going now to my favorite part of the show. This is the Crystal Beauty Show. I'm bringing something new here. So we have dusted a little bit from the cup questions, and we are going to pop questions. So, Ranz, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to be asking you a series of questions that you're just going to answer as you see them come. Can you do
Okay.
that? Okay, let me get my phone here. And in five, four. Okay, I'm just going to. Good. Are you ready? There's a series of five questions. Straightforward, and you take them as they come.
I was
Okay.
born ready.
Now, in the industry of poetry, who will you say is the most down to earth poet?
Down to earth poet would be Chrissy Former.
Okay. And what's your cure for hiccups? Your personal cure for hiccups?
I drink water. No, I have this thing I do with my throat. It's like you're virgin, but you're not. I don't think I can do it on camera.
And that's exactly where I was going. Okay, now let's go to the third question. What are your interests in the most, rather, what are you most interested in most people? Rather, what are you most interested in that most people aren't?
Food.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like food. I don't eat much, but I really like food. I like kneading, like crochets and all of that. I don't do it a lot, but I really like to see it, and I like when other people do it.
And you think other people are not interested in it?
Not really. I think
In food?
it's no
Okay, say crochet.
crochets. Yes,
Okay,
with food, I think the obsession that I have with food is that I like to take pictures of food.
okay.
Like I'm always taking videos and
But a
stuff
lot
like
of
that.
people used to complain about that. Like, you go, you don't eat the food, you take pictures.
Yeah, and the funny thing is I don't post. I just like to keep them on my phone and look at.
Oh, okay, that's the difference then. All right. So now we're going to the fourth
You've not
questions.
answered my third. I'm in the third one.
The third questions.
Yes.
The third question, I just answered it. Rather, I just asked it.
You know,
You just answered
you
it,
asked for
yes.
three things.
No, what are you most interested in that other people aren't?
Okay. I was
Okay.
going to say toes.
Yeah, interested in toes. You want to say that on camera? Okay, we're going to the next part. The fourth question. What artist or band do you always recommend when somebody asks you for beautiful music, for music recommendations?
I think it depends on the vibe the person is going for.
Okay, I'm asking you now. Who will you recommend to me from?
Let me see. Well, I love Najame. I think he can blend into any vibe. So
So you
yeah,
think if I listen to Najee now, I'll just like him?
you'll fall in love. Even though I doubt that you'll be able. But we'll see.
First of all, I'm a guy, so yeah.
You know, guys fall in love too.
With music, with music, with
No, like
music,
it's going to open up your heart to love
the music.
the music, maybe
Yes.
the person,
Yeah.
not with his personality. Not, I'm not saying you're not
Okay,
that.
let's go to the final question. Ranz,
Yes.
what really, what really needs to be memorized?
Probably exam answers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say one of your poems. But
No.
exam answers. Seriously.
Yes.
So you're doing a lot of cartouche before going into
I'm not saying, but like, bro, instead of going in with like the papers, why don't you just cram everything?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. But you used to go in with a lot of people.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know
I
what
can
I'm
neither
talking about.
affirm or deny any information
You're watching
without
a
confirmation
way.
from the section.
You've been watching way too much movies. So, Ranz, we are slowly rounding up. And if you're just joining us, this is still the Crystal Beauty Show. I'm here with Sunshine, just choosing one of her names, by the way. And we are at Womba Furnitures, our proud sponsor of this episode. Now, getting back to you, Ranz. A lot of people are watching you right now. They have been watching you from the beginning. What do you have to say to them? Poets, musicians, artists, what do you have to say to them that can help inspire?
I think that for most artists and creatives, just do you. I think a lot of us feel the need to copy others, which can be a great thing for the start. But then the problem with copying is we end up in a place where every artist sounds exactly the same.
Okay.
And it gets boring because we're not all going to love the same person. So just be you. Talk about what you want to talk about and love your art first before anybody else. So
Wow, that's very beautiful advice. You know, in this part of the show, we always have a pen and a paper right now. So I think I would recommend that you love your art more than yourself. So thank you very much if you have been watching from the beginning of the Crystal Beauty Show. It has still been me, Tiafak M. Tonka. And if you're watching for the first time, please make sure you touch that notification bell and hit that subscribe button so that you'll be the first person to know when we drop a new video. We are on all social media platforms as the Crystal Beauty Show. My name is Tiafak M. Tonka, and this is,
Kweke Ranz.
and we are signing out.